friends! Merry Christmas! Last week, I put up a poll asking what you wanted to see for my Christmas video, and you voted on some Christmas crafts. So this week, I'm going to paint this little cupcake house. Yes, it is a cupcake, but it's Christmas themed because it has a little gingerbread man and Christmas trees, and because I got it in the Christmas section of Michael's. This little house is made out of ceramic, and apparently it lights up. And there's a ton going on. There's frosting, sprinkles, these little swirly candy things, and a cherry on top. And there's a bunch of little details around the outside, so there's lots of decorating potential. Also, for this project, I'm going to use the Mariah Elizabeth paint set. These are really cute sort of pastel colors, so I think it'll look really good on this sweet-filled house. I do actually have the original set that Mariah came out with, but I got it as a gift and it was just way too cute to use. Like, the paint tubes were so little, and if I used them all up, they would just be all dirty and crumpled, so I just kept it in pristine display condition. So when Mariah came out with these bigger sets, I ordered them immediately. I do get really nervous using YouTuber products in my videos, because if I don't like it, I feel really bad criticizing something that someone worked so hard on. So if you're actually seeing this part of the video, then I actually like the paint and didn't edit it out. Anyway, I started with painting the biggest areas that are mostly the sort of big background chunks, like the frosting and the cupcake liner. I painted the liner a slightly lightened version of strawberry, and then I painted this frosting area the undiluted strawberry color. I spent a long time trying to figure out what each area of the top of this thing was supposed to be. I couldn't decide if this area was supposed to be the cake of the cupcake or frosting. But there's frosting around the edge, so that would be kind of weird if there was frosting on top and then naked cake and then more frosting. But I also don't think it's part of the frosting mountain because there's like a lip thing right here. So I decided that it's like a really smooth, flat cream frosting, and the frosting mountain is more a gooey whipped frosting. I also felt like the strawberry and lightened strawberry were just a little too similar, so I lightened the lightened strawberry just a little bit more. Can you really tell? Probably not, but pretend that you can so I feel better about it. Now let's move on to the decorations around the house. This door is going to be made out of chocolate, so of course I use the color milk chocolate. And the swirly door frame I've decided is made out of twisty marshmallows. Oh my god, I want twisty marshmallows so bad now. I'm not a super big dessert person, but I am totally a candy person. And I might have just spent 10 minutes distracted looking at pictures of marshmallows. Let's get back to painting this gingerbread man. Now I want a gingerbread cookie. Anyway, after I was like half done painting in this guy's body, I realized that maybe he's supposed to be wearing clothes because he has these giant cuffs on his wrists and ankles. But I wasn't about to try and cover up all of this brown, so I guess he's just naked with cuffs and a bow tie. He's a Chippendales gingerbread man. After all of that, I added the little finishing touches on this area. Some ornaments on the tree, a doorknob, berries on the wreath, and buttons and a face on the gingerbread man. Then let's flip it over and get to work on the other side. Adding some more twisty marshmallow window frames. And of course there's an odd number of stripes, so I had to fudge it a little on the bottom. Then there's this weird Dr. Seuss looking tree with a floating star and a ball on the top. Why is there a ball on top of the star? I just made it a cherry because there was definitely a ball there and I couldn't just ignore it. Now to finally work on the top of the cupcake. And there's a lot going on up there too. First is this sort of frosting bunting. There are more little balls around the top, so I decided these were probably those little cinnamon candies that we used to put on cookies when I was little. I just had a recovered memory of decorating cookies with these little silver ball thingies that were rock hard. I'm sure they had to be edible because they were with all the rest of our cookie decorations, but I just remember it feeling like you were chewing on ball bearings. What are those things called? Do they even still exist? So apparently you aren't supposed to eat them. Why would you make a food decoration that you can't eat? That's like putting decorative pepperoni on your pizza and having to peel it off before you're going to eat it. It's so stupid. Those silver balls weren't even very good, but I'm just going to keep eating them out of spite. Back to the actual painting. I painted the little swirly candies in blue, green, and purple to help tie in those colors a little bit more. For the sprinkles, I had to put a couple more colors back in, so that I didn't have a bunch of the same colors next to each other. And then I painted the cherry. I could have called this done here, but I wanted to add a little something more. And I wanted to differentiate between the white parts that were candy and the white parts that were frosting. So I'm going to use this iridescent medium everywhere that would be frosting, including this area around the bottom. I guess this cupcake house is sitting in a pile of frosting snow. I used a small brush and tried to be really careful so I wouldn't need to do a ton of touch-ups, which did take a long time around the individual sprinkles and such. I was getting a little worried that this was kind of looking too extra, but it's also too late now, so we're just going to embrace it. So here's the little cupcake house done. I think I really like it. The color palette has a lot of pink in it, so it's really pretty, and the iridescent medium isn't quite so silvery when all of the lights aren't on it. Ooh, let's test out the light. I just want to take a second here to say that I'm getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. I really want to do something kind of special when I hit this milestone, so drop your ideas in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. So I still had a little time left, so I wanted to make some little inhabitants of this house. And I just so happened to have these little snowmen that I found at Target. Oops, you got a little something right there. So we've got a tall, statuesque one and a little short, stubby one. And they are going to be a little newlywed couple moving into their first little candy home. I'm going to start with this tall lady first. And she is going to be a candy cane themed snow person. So her snow skin color is going to be a super light pink. And I really should have used some gesso on this first because she's really drinking in the paint. She took about 5 coats to build up the color. Now she needs some clothes. So I'm going to give her a dress with a pretty little sweetheart neckline and a flowy skirt. You can barely see the difference between the two pinks right now, but it will get better. The skirt is going to have some candy cane stripes, which started thin but quickly got fatter as I tried to even the edges out. And then they also really started to lean. And I don't even know how that happened. I added a band around her back to keep her snow boobs in her dress, and then added some pretty trim around the edges. Then I moved on to the hat, which I A, should have used gesso on, and B, should have used a pink instead of white, because it's not really matching the rest of her. But I moved on to giving her a face anyway. And I used paint markers because I really didn't want to mix up a teeny tiny amount of orange and black. But she's done. Her name is Peppermint, and she's so excited for her fancy house. Now let's work on her husband. This guy is going to be a hot chocolate snowman, so I'm going to use a lightened version of milk chocolate. And since he needs to look equally as fancy as his wife, he's going to have a milk chocolate vest. I'm not really sure why I gave him armholes when he doesn't have arms, Felt like it would look weird to have no holes, but now I think it looks even weirder with the holes. I gave him dark chocolate trim and buttons, and now the buttons don't make sense because the vest doesn't overlap. That's not how clothes physics works. But I didn't feel like correcting it, so instead I moved on to his hat. The brim is going to be that dark chocolate color, but the actual stack part of the hat is going to be a marshmallow. I used a dry brushing technique to add a little toasting, going back and forth between my gingerbread color and white to blend it out. Last, I used markers to give him a face too. He's a little more chill about things. His name is Coco. Let's see how they all look together. Aw, so cute. They might not actually fit in the door, but I mean, they can squat. I love these. What do you think? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.